The purpose of this video is to show you the methods we use in nursery to teach sharing practically using pictures and objects to divide. Our learning objective for this session is for the children to show an interest in number problems, in this instance sharing or division. There are two steps to achieving this, firstly by using pictures and secondly with objects. The key vocabulary used when teaching division are share, share equally, one each and two each. Number 1, using pictures. As before, we use steps to learning to ensure we are teaching new methods in the correct order. Firstly, we would count the number of objects in the picture together, counting carefully 1, 2, 3, 4. We would then share or draw these objects into two sets. Then encouraging the children to count carefully, we would count how many we have in each set. 1, 2 in the first set, 1, 2 in the second set, and then we would say and record the total. 2. We would then get the children to check this is correct by counting 1, 2. Number 2, using objects. Again, we would use the steps to learning to ensure we are teaching new methods in the correct order. We would encourage the children to touch the objects and we would identify how many objects we have all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We would then physically share the objects into two sets, using the vocabulary 1 for you, 1 for you. So, 1 for you, 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 and 1 for you. We would then count each set, encouraging the children to touch the objects as they count carefully. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We would then say and record the total. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Again, we would ask the children to check the total by counting one of the sets. 1, 2, 3. And these counting skills go hand in hand with recognising numerals. When children are secure in these areas, they can begin to match amounts or totals to numbers.
Moving on from sharing practically using pictures and objects to dividing by sharing, our key learning objective will be to solve problems including halving and sharing. As always, we will be following our steps to learning in order to achieve this, and the key vocabulary used will include share, share equally, group, 1 each, 2 each, and so on. There are two methods to achieving this, and pupils may be introduced to the symbol for division and recognise this as sharing. Step 1 is dividing practically using objects, a skill introduced previously. Pupils will be encouraged to share equally. For example, 6 divided or shared by 2 will include 6 objects shared equally between 2 sets. One for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, and 1 for you. Therefore, 6 divided or shared by 2 will equal 1, 2, 3. Your total will be 3. Step 2 involves moving on to pictorial representations. It's important to note that at this point, introducing vocabulary for half or halving is important. For example, half each or half of 6 is 3. We will be following our steps to learning carefully. Number 1, count all together. 4 divided or shared by 2 equals 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Step 2, draw or share the objects into 2 sets. We are dividing by 2, so share the objects equally, drawing and crossing them off as we do so. 1 for you, and 1 for you. One for you, and 1 for you. Step 3, carefully count each set. 1, 2, 1, 2. Step 4, say and record the total. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And as always, final step, check your answer. 4 divided by 2 equals 2. Children will then move on to dividing using a number line.
We teach 2 methods of division in Year 1. These involve dividing using a number line. Our learning objective today is to be able to solve one-step division problems using a number line. Today I'll be modelling our first method, which is to use a guided number line. Our number sentence is 40 divided by 10. As always, we'll be following our steps to learning to help us find the answer. Our first step is to write 0 at the start of the line. Tick that once I've completed my step. Our second step is to look at the second number, and this is the pattern we're going to be writing. So we're going to be counting in groups of 10. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. We're then going to hop along the number line until we get to our first number. 10, 20, 30, and 40. Once we get to 40, we stop. We then need to count how many hops we have done. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our answer is 4, and we need to write that next to our equals. Take that. Our last job is to double check our answer. So we've written 0 at the start of the line. Our second number, number 10, that's the groups we have counted in along our number line. We've then hopped along till we've got to our first number, number 40, and we've done 1, 2, 3, 4 hops, which means that our answer is 4. So we've checked that. Once we are secure with this, we can then draw our own number line to help us find the answer.
Hello, let's have a look at the learning objective. To solve problems involving division using mental methods, multiplication and division facts. In Year 2 we start to divide mentally and relate to multiplication. We learn multiplication and division facts and to chant mentally. We move on to divide using a number line. Let's look at the steps to learning. Read the calculation. 15 divided by 3. We could say 15 divided into groups of 3. Check how many we are dividing. We have 15. Check how many is in a group. We are making groups of 3. Draw the groups. We need to draw groups of 3 until we get to 15 on the number line. This is a group of 3. 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 We stop at 15. Count the groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 groups. This is our answer. It is important to check our answer. 15 divided by 3. We have 15 on the number line, divided into groups of 3. In Year 2, we move on to divide on the number line with reminders.